Hey friends, welcome back to Growing Up Green. Today we are in my community garden again. Way back in June, I showed you guys me planting sweet potato slips in my garden, and I thought it would be fun to show you the progress they've made over the last 2 months. So we'll start in my bed that doesn't have sweet potatoes, but had all my tomatoes, some cucumbers, herbs, peppers. Let me give you a peek at what that looks like now. So my friends, here is my garden bed. This basil over here has turned into a tree. It is so huge. Look at that stem. I've made a lot of yummy pesto with this basil this summer. My tomatoes are ripening. I've made so much tomato sauce and had so many yummy snacks. You can see I've got some beautiful little cherry tomatoes to munch on. Down here I've got more basil and my cucumber. Still pushing out little baby cucumbers. So this bed is doing really well. And I'm almost ready to start pulling out some of the tomato plants and putting in my fall crops. We talked about eating seasonally. We talked about how some plants grow better in different kinds of weather and different seasons. So I'm gonna plant things like kale, lettuce, and radishes to eat in the fall. Let's go check on the sweet potato bed. All right, my friends, do you remember what this bed looked like 2 months ago? You can't even see the garden bed anymore. It's totally covered. My butternut squash plant is growing all the way out here. Let's check it out. Here is one of the squash blossoms. And you can see it is already forming a tiny little butternut squash. I've never grown this type before, and I'm so excited for them to get bigger and be ready for me to eat them. I've got so many starting to grow. Now, when I last showed you, these butternut squash plants hadn't even sprouted yet. I had just planted the seeds. There are my tomato plants. And all mixed in here with the butternut squash are my sweet potatoes. Now, when I planted the sweet potato slip, it was really just a stem about this size. And it only had a couple roots on it and maybe 1 or 2 leaves. And now they are taking up the entire space and spilling over the sides. You can see they are just spreading, spreading, spreading. Look at that crazy stem. And along the stem, it's putting out more roots into the soil. And everywhere that those roots dig down deep into the soil, they might produce more sweet potatoes. So I'm very excited to dig up my bed later in the fall and see what we can harvest. I've also got my cucumbers in the middle of the bed. Let's see how those are doing. Look what I found. Some mushrooms. Hey, mushrooms. And I've got a tiny little squash growing down there. Here is one of my cucumber plants. And here is a cucumber. This probably doesn't look like the cucumbers you're used to buying in the grocery store. It is called a striped Armenian cucumber. And they can get over 1 foot long. So I'm gonna see how big this guy can grow before I harvest it. Over here I have some more cucumber plants. These are more of the Persian variety. They have a nice thin skin, and you can find these ones in grocery stores. This one's not the most beautiful, but it's still pretty awesome. You might remember from the last video, I had also planted some bean seeds. Well, here are the bean plants. You can see those beautiful little flowers, and each of them will hopefully turn into a yummy green bean. Friends, I hope you enjoyed seeing the update of how my garden's been doing this summer. If you have a garden at home, I would love to hear about how it's going this summer. Have you gotten any yummy fruits and veggies so far? Have some of your plants gone crazy and gotten huge? Or have some of them just kind of not done anything, like some of my tomato plants? I would love to hear about it, and I can't wait to see you next week for another Growing Up Green. Bye!